Hey everybody, it's Jasmine. Today I am continuing on with my painting that I started in another video, which you probably have seen. So this painting session was quite a bit longer than the other one, and so I have sped up the video even more than the other one. So let me know what you think of that, if you prefer this speed or the other speed. Yeah, it's really up to you. So anyway, I have been thinking about this painting a lot actually, and I had also been going out and doing some sketches and things like that, and that's when I decided on doing this painting with two buildings and some trees in the foreground and in the background. So I've sketched that out onto the canvas, which you might be able to see, especially on the right hand corner. So I sketched that out using pencil, and I went over the paint, and you can't really see it on the paint, but that's something that I would suggest doing, is using pencil to sketch out your lines, because it's so easy to rub off. Like, you don't even have to worry about it basically. And right now what I'm doing is I'm using white paint to sort of go over those lines more in a more permanent fashion by using the white paint. So in this video I am putting down what I would still consider to be a pretty base coat on the painting. So the colours that I'm using, they're not necessarily what I've decided 100% on. Like the color of the sky, I don't necessarily know if it's going to be that blue, or if I'm going to mix in different colors. You know, is the sun going to be setting? Is there going to be a little bit of pink in the sky? I don't know that yet, but because it's a sky, basically I know that it's going to be somewhat blue, so then I can slap that down and have that bit ready and cleared up. So it's the same with the buildings really, because later on you'll see that I paint colour onto the buildings so that they're not just white, and I'm fairly certain that I know that I will change the colour of the buildings, but to just get a base down and to show where it will be darker and where it will be lighter, that's basically the main goal of doing this, as well as building those bigger forms like the buildings and carving out where the trees are. So you'll see later on in the video where I start to build up more of the trees, and I find that quite satisfying, and I'm really pleased with how easy that was to do on top of the tree base that I had already done. So that'll be coming up soon. So this is where I start to build up the trees that I have decided on, and I'm using a fan brush here because I found that worked quite well with the type of tree that I was building up. So that's when it can be useful to have different types of brushes. But in general, I would say that you don't really need that many paintbrushes. In fact, it can be really confusing when you're a beginner to have a lot of different paintbrushes. It can be really intimidating. So I would say start off with as few as you can get away with, really, and then move on to more stylized paintbrushes when you know what you want to do and when you know what you are missing in your collection, basically. So I only use 3 brushes, a really big one, a medium-sized one, and a really small one. And that's just because I want to use tools that I know work for me. So I have paintbrushes that are my favorite ones, and then the other ones I don't even really look at, they're just there for emergencies. So, and one tip that I can give you is that often when you're painting, it's better to use a bigger brush than it is to use a smaller one, because when you have a bigger brush, then you get a lot of paint down, and you kind of have this sense of freedom because you're not getting all tight and trying to fill in all these tiny details. And obviously when you get to the end of your painting, then you can start using the really small brushes. But when you're doing the background and you're just building up the shape of the painting and you're filling in color spaces and things like that, you really don't want to be fiddling around with a small paintbrush because it's just going to take so much time. So you really want to save the small detailed brushwork until the end. That's one of the biggest tricks that artists use. So here I am filling in the paint, the color of the buildings, and it's quite a musty green color that I don't really like. But the good thing is that by doing this, I have put down and visualized where different shades are going to be. So right up the top of the building, you see that it's like this dark green. So that part of the building, whatever color I do end up using, it's going to be darker than the lower part of the building. And that black line there, that's basically going to be, the darkest part of the building. So this is all about getting your color, getting your shadows and down to get your mind ready and to get the painting ready for whatever color you do decide on. So by painting this, I've sort of given myself the visualization, so I can see that yes, I do want it to be darker up the top, I do want it to be really dark in that middle part, and I do want it to be lighter down the bottom. So from there I can start to do color matching, making my own color stories to see what I do actually want, and that's something that I will do away from the painting. I'll go outside and take a look at buildings around me and see what I really feel would work with the painting, really. So that's another thing. When you're painting like this, you're still doing a lot of research, because I haven't done all of my research in terms of the color story that I want and everything like that. So that's something that I'm going to have to do while I'm in the process of painting this painting. And if you can, it might be worth doing all of that before you start painting, and that's something that I'll think about in the future. But I really wanted to get started on this and show you guys what I've been up to. So now we are reaching the end of the video. I'm quite happy with how much progress I made. This was all done on the Sunday. I had work, I had a nap, and I was very tired. But yeah, I'm really happy with it. So thank you guys so much for watching. Please leave a comment down below, share it with your friends, all that sort of stuff. And hopefully I will see you guys all next time. Hey door!